to launch both the book and this one-time only special pop-up exhibition. Get your copy now. Jacob and the Cassowary. And of course, we have special guest Jacob with us, having a book written about him, not the first, I'm sure. It may have the appearance, for those of you who haven't read it, of a children's book, a fable, a parable, but I think it's also a morality tale, or at least that's what I take from it. It's an epic adventure, a journey from homeland to the joy of independence. And it features two powerful native animals that, of course, we share in Australia, one of the many things we have in common with our Melanesian brothers and sisters, the cassowary and the crocodile. And you don't want to mess with these creatures. They're powerful symbols in this narrative. And it also features two great rivers. And forgive me, I haven't checked pronunciation, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the Puldama in the highlands, Puldama River, and the mighty Mamberamo.
Yes.
And a cast of real world people, some of whom are in this room with us tonight. West Papuans in exile spread around the world and dreaming of freedom, of reunion and homecoming. The book has a clear vision from the outset, a free West Papua. And our hero, Jacob, is intent on attending the independence celebration. We see him set out from the author's home village of Nulcha, thank you, I'm sorry, from Nulcha in the highlands, and riding on the back of a very obliging cassowary. I notice Michael hasn't taken the imaginative leap of depicting Jacob actually astride the cassowary. There is no image of that in this series, but we have to use our imagination. He's on the cassowary and his destination is Jayapura, the capital on the north coast. I put Nulcha and Jayapura in Google Maps to see how far this journey is. And Google found Nulcha. I don't know how big is Nulcha, do you reckon? How many people would live there?
100.
100 people. So a little village in the highlands is in Google Maps. And of course it found Jayapura. And even though I selected pedestrian route, because I thought there may not be public transport, and unless you've got a cassowary handy, there may not be roads. But even though I selected pedestrian route, Google literally said, can't seem to find a way there. Try it, I'm not making this up. There's no roads, there's no way that Google knows of, which is hardly surprising. But Jacob and the cassowary find a way, aided by the resourceful and hospitable Highland women. And without wanting to give away all of their adventures, to me the high point comes when they encounter Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. You're allowed to boo and hiss if you like. There he is. Here he is. We could call this one Prabowo's last ride. And the crocodile says to Jacob, do you want me to eat him? And Jacob thought long and hard. And we are challenged as readers. Knowing what we know about modern history of West Papua, about the crimes of Indonesian occupiers, about the trials that Jacob has faced to arrive at this conundrum. What should he say to the crocodile? What would you say?
Go for it. Use the source.
I myself, I'm a pacifist. It's very easy to be a pacifist in a peaceful country. Of course, as we've heard, I'm very committed to human rights and the imperfect systems that we have fought to create as a global community, especially in the shadow of the Second World War, to right wrongs and achieve our ideals of fairness, human dignity and justice. I've been arrested and charged and tried and convicted for my beliefs, but that's easy because I've never suffered for my convictions. And this reminds me of a wonderful fella, a mentor of mine, Dick Wootton, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's people in this room who knew Dick. Reverend Dick Wootton was a Presbyterian and a Uniting Church minister, and we lost him last year at the age of 91. He was a legend and a great champion of social justice, one of the greats of his generation, of social justice and human rights, and a great opponent of war, poverty, racism, and deeply engaged with freedom struggles around the world. And he inspired and influenced many people of my generation. Dick is not here to correct me if I'm misrepresenting him, but I have long remembered how he would not pass judgment on freedom struggles that in desperation turned to violence. Until your children are gunned down in cold blood, judge not what you might do in their position. But Gipson's story is a beacon of international law, of the ideal of a just world. And in his story, Jacob lives up to his vision of a better world. And he says to the crocodile, no. Take him to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. And this is not a soft option. This is justice. This is moral courage. And it's a long and arduous journey to get him to The Hague. And more than that, Gipson's narrative sees an end to impunity that in our heart of hearts we so desire when we see injustice. Because it's not just Prabowo, but all the other Indonesian presidents who have colonised and oppressed, robbed and terrorised West Papua since 1963. The crocodile takes them all to The Hague. What a message of moral clarity, especially in these times when Trump and his cronies are declaring international law a fiction because it's inconvenient to them. And our own Prime Minister is incapable of condemning an illegal invasion. And our former Prime Ministers are excusing war crimes. International law only works when we see its value and defend it. A mutually agreed moral order safeguarding sovereignty, peace, human rights, self-determination, and the bounds of warfare. I want to quote the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan and his definition of the rule of law. partly because inherent in his definition is human rights. He says it's not the rule of law unless it's consistent with human rights, which I love. And I think this definition is worth defending, from the most trivial bylaws at a local government level where I operate, right up to international law in The Hague. This is both our goal and a means to achieve our most cherished ends. He says, the rule of law is a principle of governance in which all persons, institutions and entities, public and private, including the state itself, are accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated, equally enforced, and independently adjudicated, and which are consistent with international human rights. Gipson, thank you for sharing with us these glimpses into your homeland. May you one day follow the cassowary home to your family. And thank you for sharing your vision of a free and independent West Papua. One shared by so many, and for inspiring us with the joyful destination and a principled path to reach it. So congratulations on your book, congratulations to Michael on your exhibition, and thank you all for joining us here tonight to celebrate both of these. Thank you very much.